Silverstone is always such a fantastic event. It was brilliant to be in and amongst hundreds of thousands of fans. And of course, a weekend that had weather that very much changed the course of the result for us and for others at the same time. Just winding through the weekend, I think what we're observing recently is that we're definitely able to have a strong race car. And right at the end of the race where it dried up and it was in very good dry conditions, the car was quick, but we weren't quick enough in those intermediate conditions when it was wet. And we weren't quick enough in qualifying, which is two areas we absolutely have to work on and improve as we go forward. In terms of where we are at this point in the season, we're now about midway, and obviously a very strong start and then fallen away a little bit as others have added performance to their car. Now we have a small update coming to Spa. What we really have to do though is just make sure we capitalise on the car performance that we have available to us. There's still points that we can score between here to the end of the year. It's making sure that we execute the weekends cleanly and take every opportunity that comes towards us. Welcome to the Vowles Verdict, presented by Kraken. As you note in this question, we've obviously been hindered by this cooling issue that's been there for a few races this year, but probably more marked in the Austria retirement when we were running in a very strong position. We did a lot of work in FP1. You would have seen a different program really to most cars in order to get on top of it, and we were doing something different between Alex and Carlos. Answering the question, we have solutions in place that mean we can get the car through the race, but it's at the cost of performance. And ideally what we're looking for is containments that allow us to make sure we're not throwing away anything in terms of performance going forward, and the team is working diligently on that as we speak. As you saw, unfortunately for Carlos, when he was running in a strong position, he was hit by Charles, who had a snap effectively coming through Stowe corner. And the damage was extensive. It was front wing and floor, and the losses probably around about half a second per lap. So sufficient that he was out of contention for any points on that particular day. Wet races are in many instances more fun because you don't have simulations or tools that wrap around it as well as you would in a dry race. A dry race is a lot more predictable effectively to go through and see where you are. So examples of that are that the track is fairly consistent. You have track ramp as it grips up, but that's predictable, and you can see what the tyre degradation is. You can fairly well predict whether it's a 1 or a 2, whether the medium's better than hard. In those inter conditions, especially as it was in Silverstone, where it's drying, then transitions, then goes back into a wet race for a period of time, then transitions again, you have to use some different tools. It's more reactive to what's going on in and around you. And at times it's almost when you believe it's ready and when the drivers believe it's ready, give it a go. And so they're different. I enjoy both. I believe I have one of the best jobs in the world. I think being a team principal for Williams is just a lifelong dream for most. Certainly it was for me. And with it comes the ability to be part of an organisation that's driven, motivated, that wants to be back fighting for wins. And when things go well, so in other words, you have two drivers working together, you do teamwork that is bringing us points on the table, that the performance you're adding, the systems you're doing, the processes you're putting in place have tangible growth. That all feels very positive and rewarding. The negatives of this, and it's not just a negative that applies to me, I think it applies to a lot of the race team that are travelling as well. You're away from your family a lot. So recently I had the pleasure of welcoming a new member of our family, but I accept that for a lot of the year, as we go forward, I won't be with them. Now you accept that a long time ago. It's just a part of the lifestyle that comes with doing this. The second element of it is you have to, as well as you celebrate success, you have to also work with individuals and process and structures in order to get things right. And as I'm very candid and talk to you openly about, we don't. Much of the time this year, we haven't delivered everything we could with the car, or we've had reliability problems, or we've made errors. And the downside of that is making sure you have frank, honest conversations in the same way we would in the positive way, in the negative way, on what we need to do better. But even with all that put together, I would warmly say that 90% of my job is just absolutely fantastic. And this small percentage is what you have to do to transform to become better in the future. My hopes for Carlos and Alex, let's start with Carlos. I think we haven't delivered everything we can with him this year, and it's been a mixture all across the board. There's been errors that he's made on track, there's absolutely been errors that we've made on track, there's been accidents, there's been just accumulation of aspects. And for me, it's about drawing a line in the sand and moving forward from Spa onwards. We have a number of really good races coming up for us. And it's about delivering the result that the car has in it, making sure that we start to really focus in on why we're not getting everything out of qualifying and dig into that and get the best performance possible. And so for Carlos, it's achieving the results that I know we are capable of together, which we haven't done this year. In the case of Alex, it's building on what we did at the beginning of the year and making sure we recognise we've fallen back a little bit, but move forward with the car performance and make sure we start to extract everything out of qualifying that we can, allowing him to continue that point score tally that he's built up so well across the first half of the season. So ultimately, it's using the first half as a learning experience, make sure we build consistently on our way forward now for the second half.